Chapter 353. Current situation in the palace. Upon hearing Emperor Qi Ming's voice, Wang Kuan quickly responded. In answer to your majesty, King Cheng and the great general are guarding the main entrance of the Qianqing palace. Those outside cannot enter. Hearing this, Emperor Qi Ming heaved a sigh of relief. However, thinking of the situation outside, his eyes were filled with gloom. This bastard dares to commit patricide and regicide. To this, Wang Kuan found no words to reply. At the main entrance of Qianqing Palace, there were the most soldiers at the main entrance. Xiao Nani and Jiang Changbai stood at the main entrance, looking at the people outside. Both of their expressions were grim. Your Highness, the number of people outside is increasing. It seems that Prince Rui has persuaded the commander of Jiuqing. If this continues, I fear the Imperial Guards won't be able to hold them off. Observing the scene outside, Jiang Changbai whispered to the man beside him. Xiao Nani, dressed in white but covered in bloodstains, calmly said, as long as we hold out for another hour, everything will be fine. Seeing Jiang Shangbai's puzzled look, Xiao Nani continued, this is a golden opportunity for my remaining nephews. They won't miss this chance. As he spoke, Xiao Nani's eyes were filled with mockery. Hearing this, Jiang Changbai remained silent, his eyes filled with anger. News of the palace being besieged had spread throughout the capital, but there was no movement from the residences of the other princes. Jiang Changbai could guess the thoughts of these princes. They were merely waiting to see the outcome. If Emperor Qi Ming were overthrown, they would pledge allegiance to the new ruler. If Prince Rui failed, they would come to the rescue. After all, the law doesn't punish the masses. Even if Emperor Qi Ming was angry, he couldn't possibly execute all the princes. What are you fools doing? Make way for me. Suddenly, the sound of horse hooves was heard. Jiang Changbai saw Prince An riding towards them. Following Prince An was a group of cavalry. Although Prince An's mansion was the closest to the palace, Xiao Junmo arrived the fastest. Seeing this, Jiang Changbai felt somewhat relieved. Among these princes, there were still some with good intentions. Imperial uncle, I am here to help. Seated on his horse, Xiao Junmo, although young, already exuded a certain dominance. Standing atop the city wall, Xiao Nani, hearing Xiao Junmo's voice, smiled slightly. Open the city gate, let Prince An in. Yes. Upon hearing Xiao Nani's command, Han Feng quickly set off. As Prince An, protected by his personal guards, slowly approached the gates of Qianqing Palace, a figure descended from the sky, blocking his way. 13th brother, I never expected you to be the first one to come. Imperial brother Rui, how could you commit such a heinous act? Lay down your arms and apologize to our imperial father. Considering the bond of father and son, he surely won't. 13. You're almost an adult now. Why are you still so naive? Before Prince An could finish, Prince Rui interrupted him. Seeing the bewildered look in Prince An's eyes, Prince Rui continued. Considering our father's temperament, do you really believe he would spare me if I laid down my arms now? Death is inevitable either way. Why not fight for it? After all, I have no way out now. Imperial brother Rui? There's no need to say any more. 13. You brought this upon yourself. Don't blame your brother. As Prince Rui's words trailed off, he ordered, capture Prince An. With Prince Rui's command, soldiers immediately advanced towards Prince An. Seeing this, Prince An froze in shock. However, at that moment, the city gate opened. The first to rush out was Han Feng. He raced to Prince An's side and yelled, protect Prince An. Under Han Feng's protection, Prince An and his guards retreated into the Qianqing Palace. Watching the gates close, fury burned in Prince Rui's eyes. He asked coldly, have you still not captured Queen Cheng? The soldiers of the general's mansion are fierce. We haven't been able to capture her. Fools. Send more men. It's already arranged. The conversation was a bit distant from the city wall, but Xiao Nani's exceptional hearing allowed him to eavesdrop clearly. Spotting Prince Rui, Xiao Nani quickly drew his bow. As Prince Rui sensed the impending threat, he hid behind a soldier, who was shot dead by Xiao Nani's arrow. Their eyes met with mutual hostility. Prince Rui shouted, Imperial uncle, why waste your effort? If you open these gates and acknowledge me as the new emperor, I will give you even greater power than you have now. You. His words were interrupted as Xiao Nany's second arrow struck him in the arm. Soldiers quickly dragged Prince Rui away, but not before he shot a venomous glare at Xiao Nani. Imperial uncle, you'll regret opposing me. At the general's mansion. Yi Xiao. My queen, you're awake. Jiang Peihuan had just spoken when Yi Xiao approached. What's that noise outside? Hesitating, Yi Xiao finally whispered. We're surrounded. The enemy have at least 3,000 soldiers outside. Help me change. Upon hearing her words, Jiang Peihuan immediately sat up. But Yi Xiao protested. My queen, your health? I'm fine. Trust me, I can hold on. She felt somewhat rejuvenated after resting. As Jiang Peihuan reached the mansion's front door, she saw numerous bodies. Jiang Songbai, dressed in white, was now stained red with blood. Seeing her, he exclaimed, Eldest sister, why are you here? You should rest. But Jiang Peihuan smiled, patting his shoulder reassuringly. I'm fine. Don't worry. Deputy General Liu? Jiang Peihuan's words were interrupted by screams. Turning, she saw an arrow had pierced through Deputy General Liu's shoulder. Yi Xiao. Hearing her call, Yi Xiao immediately began treating Deputy General Liu. Eldest sister, be careful. Just as Jiang Peihuan was about to move forward, Jiang Songbai grabbed her. She then saw a volley of fireballs hurled into the general's mansion. In no time, the entire mansion was ablaze. Seeing this, a fierce anger ignited in Jiang Peihuan's eyes. Chapter 354. The general's mansion was burned. Eldest miss, what should we do now? Open the main gate. Yes. Hearing Jiang Peihuan's voice, the guards of the general's mansion immediately opened the gate. The crowd outside, upon seeing Jiang Peihuan, were filled with excitement. The prince has ordered that whoever captures Queen Cheng will be rewarded 1,000 taels of silver. Quick charge. Hearing about the rewards, everyone rushed towards Jiang Peihuan. Protect the queen. Protect the eldest miss. Upon witnessing this scene, both Yi Xiao and Deputy General Liu simultaneously shouted. Facing the approaching crowd, Jiang Peihuan's eyes revealed a chilling intent. The sound of galloping hooves instantly reached everyone's ears. Lai Feng ran to Jiang Peihuan's side. Apart from Lai Feng, Xiaobai also ran to Jiang Peihuan's side. Everyone follow me. As she mounted her horse, Jiang Peihuan addressed the people of the general's mansion. Upon hearing her voice, everyone promptly followed. Quick, stop Queen Cheng. The outsiders saw Jiang Peihuan mount and immediately surrounded her. Jiang Peihuan, with one hand on the reins, drew out a long whip with the other. With a flick of her wrist, the whip in Jiang Peihuan's hand struck down the frontline attackers. Let's go. The people behind her followed her lead. Upon reaching an intersection, Jiang Peihuan couldn't help but look back. The entire general's mansion was ablaze. With mixed emotions in her eyes, she continued forward. Pursuers continuously chased from behind. When they reached a street corner, Jiang Peihuan pulled her reins and turned to Jiang Songbai and Deputy General Liu. Everyone split up. My queen, if we split up, what about you? Don't worry about me. Yi Xiao, head west. Yes. After speaking, Jiang Peihuan headed west with Yi Xiao. Jiang Songbai instinctively wanted to follow but was stopped by Jiang Peihuan. Elder sister? Confusion filled Jiang Songbai's eyes. Meeting his gaze, Jiang Peihuan whispered, They're after me, don't follow. With that, she went straight west. An hour later, those soldiers surrounding the general's mansion also headed west. Witnessing this, Jiang Songbai instinctively wanted to chase, but was held back by Deputy General Liu. Third young master, our priority is to find reinforcements. Even if you chase after them, it's of no use and will only make eldest miss worry more. Reinforcements? Let me think. Jiang Songbei's eyes were filled with anxiety, but thinking of the way Jiang Peihuan used to speak to him, he forced himself to calm down. At this time, Han Feng had already appeared at the general's mansion with a team of men and horses. Seeing the flames shooting up into the sky from the general's mansion, Han Feng's expression changed drastically. However, after observing the surrounding environment for a moment, he headed toward the neighborhood. Hearing the noise, Jiang Songbei's eyes were filled with caution. But when he saw who was coming, a hint of joy appeared in his eyes. Han Feng. Upon seeing Jiang Songbei, Han Feng sighed in relief. But after a quick glance around and not seeing Jiang Peihuan, he couldn't help but frown. Third young master, where is the queen? Eldest sister went west. Han Feng, come with me to find her. Upon hearing Jiang Songbei's words, Han Feng didn't hesitate and immediately headed west. Jiang Peihuan, accompanied by Yi Xiao, went directly to the West Mountain. Upon reaching the foot of the mountain, it was no longer possible to ride horses. Jiang Peihuan dismounted and patted her horse, Lai Feng, saying, Lai Feng, find a place to hide. Saying this, she began to climb the mountain. Yi Xiao and the wolf Xiaobai followed closely behind Jiang Peihuan. Xiaobai was born in the West Mountain and hadn't returned since, but he was very familiar with the area. As they climbed, it kept glancing at Jiang Peihuan. Footsteps echoed from behind them. Jiang Peihuan followed Xiaobai, continuously ascending the mountain. Yi Xiao, hearing the noise from behind, whispered to Jiang Peihuan, My queen, they won't set the mountain on fire, will they? No, they wouldn't dare. Hearing this, Yi Xiao sighed in relief. But at that moment, a group of soldiers suddenly charged forward. Seeing them, Jiang Peihuan's brows furrowed. These weren't the same men who had surrounded her home, but seemed to be waiting here for her. Not recognizing the soldiers, Jiang Peihuan tensed, but as they saw her, they immediately drew their longswords. Yi Xiao, seeing the threat, reached for his dagger. However, before he could act, Xiaobai charged forth, killing one of the soldiers and then letting out a wolf's howl. At the foot of the mountain, hearing the wolf's howl, excitement filled Han Feng's eyes. It's Xiaobai. Let's hurry. Han Feng and Jiang Songbei rushed up the mountain, but collided with the chasing soldiers. Without hesitation, Han Feng said to Jiang Songbei, Third young master, go find the queen. Leave this to me. All right, be careful. Saying this, Jiang Songbei continued up the mountain. As he got closer, the wolf's howl became clearer. Finally, he saw Jiang Peihuan, but the scene before him made him smirk. Jiang Peihuan and Yi Xiao stood to the side, while Xiaobai faced off against 10 soldiers, showing no signs of weakness. Eldest sister? Songbei, why are you here? Weren't you with Deputy General Liu? One was worried about you. By the way, Han Feng is here too. King Cheng probably sent him. Queen Cheng. As Jiang Songbei was speaking, he saw Han Feng and his men approaching. After giving a respectful bow to Jiang Peihuan, Han Feng whispered, Queen, we've dealt with the pursuers. Are you okay? I'm fine. Hearing Han Feng's words, Jiang Peihuan shook her head. She then softly asked, How is Xiao Nani? Prince Rui has besieged the palace. Our master and the great general are guarding the gates of Qianqing Palace. Prince Rui is that close to Qianqing Palace? Yes. If not for our master and the great general arriving in time, Qianqing Palace would have already fallen. Let's go. Upon hearing this, Jiang Peihuan started heading up the mountain without a second thought. Watching her, confusion filled Han Feng's eyes. While following her, he whispered, Queen, where are we going? To the palace. Queen, from here? You intend to go to the palace from here? Doubt filled Han Feng's eyes. If it weren't for the fact that this was Jiang Peihuan, he would have thought she was joking. Upon hearing Han Feng's words, Jiang Peihuan nodded seriously. Looking at him, she whispered, Follow me and you'll understand. With that, Jiang Peihuan continued to climb. An hour later, Jiang Peihuan led Han Feng and the others into a secret passage. Chapter 355. Teaching Consort Meng a lesson, my queen. How did you know about the secret passage on West Mountain? Seeing the hidden passage before him, Ilan Feng's eyes were filled with astonishment. Even his master didn't know about this secret passage, so at this moment, Han Feng's expression when looking at Jiang Peihuan was one of mixed feelings. I stumbled upon it by accident. Upon hearing Han Feng's words, Jiang Peihuan replied lightly and didn't speak again after that. Why she knew about the hidden room here was because Xiao Juanhao had brought her here in her past life. Jiang Peihuan didn't expect that after being reborn in this lifetime, this secret passage would come in handy. After an unknown length of time, Jiang Peihuan finally saw light ahead. When they emerged from the secret room, Jiang Peihuan and her companions appeared in the imperial garden. Follow me. Taking a look at their surroundings, Jiang Peihuan headed directly east. After about the time it takes to brew a pot of tea, Jiang Peihuan saw Kunning Palace. You all wait here, I'll go in and check on the Empress. Instructing Han Feng, Jiang Peihuan then entered Kunning Palace with Yi Xiao. As soon as they entered, Jiang Peihuan sensed that something was amiss. Because Kunning Palace was eerily silent, not a sound to be heard. Suddenly realizing something, Jiang Peihuan's face changed instantly. Turning to Yi Xiao, she urgently said, "Go quickly." Saying this, Jiang Peihuan rushed towards the Empress' sleeping quarters. As she approached the door, she heard crying and shouting from inside. Without hesitation, she entered. The scene before her made Jiang Peihuan frown deeply. Two old nanny were restraining the Empress, while another was trying to force a bowl of medicine down the Empress' throat. The Empress' eyes were filled with anger, but there was nothing she could do. Princess Consort Meng sat on the chair with a smug look in her eyes. She looked at the Empress who was being pressed down and said with a smile, "Your Royal Majesty, after today, you will—" "Ah!" Before Princess Consort could finish, the two nanny restraining the Empress were suddenly thrown off. When Yi Xiao stepped forward to intervene, Jiang Peihuan quickly went to the Empress' side. She checked the Empress' pulse and saw that she was merely frightened, and the child in her womb was unharmed. Jiang Peihuan breathed a sigh of relief. Huan air. Upon seeing Jiang Peihuan, the Empress' eyes were filled with emotion. However, when Princess Meng saw Jiang Peihuan, her eyes were cold. "Jiang Peihuan, you are audacious, daring to attack my people. However bold I might be, am not as audacious as Princess Consort Meng, daring to plot against the Emperor heir. You're talking nonsense. Am I? Does Princess Consort Meng want to take a look at the medicine on the floor? 1 am a doctor, and I can tell what that medicine is with just one look. Or does Princess Consort Meng want to claim that it's not an abortifacient, but a medicine to protect the fetus?" Looking at Jiang Peihuan, she coldly said, "So what if it is? What does it have to do with you, Jiang Peihuan? If you don't want trouble, leave my palace." "And what if I don't?" "Humph." Upon hearing Jiang Peihuan's words, Princess Consort Meng let out a snort, then yelled, "Guards!" In an instant, 2 shadow guards appeared out of thin air. Seeing this, Yi Xiao immediately stepped forward, positioning herself in front of Jiang Peihuan. "Kill her for me." Princess Consort Meng pointed directly at Jiang Peihuan, ordering without hesitation. Hearing this, a hint of conflict appeared in the eyes of the 2 shadow guards. "What are you waiting for? Didn't you hear my command?" Princess Consort Meng, with a darkened look in her eyes, voiced her frustration when the 2 guards hesitated. At her words, the 2 guards, without any hesitation, lunged at Jiang Peihuan. Yi Xiao, single-handedly taking on the 2 of them, was not at a disadvantage. Seeing this, Jiang Peihuan let out a sigh of relief. Jiang Peihuan approached and carefully helped the Empress up. "You 2 are useless, can't even defeat a servant. Attack! Kill Jiang Peihuan for me." Princess Consort Meng grew desperate. The maids and eunuchs by her side exchanged glances, then charged towards Jiang Peihuan. Jiang Peihuan said nothing, drawing a long whip from her waist. With a swift flick of the black whip, she knocked the maids to the ground. Finally, the whip lashed out, aiming directly at Princess Consort Meng. Seeing this, Princess Consort Meng shrieked, "Jiang Peihuan, how dare you!" "Ah!" As the words left Consort Meng's mouth, the whip in Jiang Peihuan's hand wrapped around her neck. With a forceful tug, Jiang Peihuan turned to the 2 shadow guards and said, "Will you not stop?" The 2 guards, already distracted by the scene with Princess Consort Meng, hesitated. Hearing Jiang Peihuan's words, they instinctively stopped, allowing Yi Xiao to knock them to the ground. Looking at the people lying on the ground, Yi Xiao spoke with a mocking tone. "To think you call yourselves shadow guards. You bring shame to our kind." Hearing Yi Xiao's words, a smile appeared in Jiang Peihuan's eyes. She always thought Yi Xiao was calm and quiet, never expecting this side of her. The moment Jiang Peihuan released the whip, Princess Consort Meng tried to rush forward, but was immediately restrained by Yi Xiao. "You lowly servant! How dare you touch me?" Release me. If you shout again, believe me, I'll scar your face. Facing Princess Consort Meng's threat, Yi Xiao responded coldly. As she spoke, she pulled out a dagger, pointing it at Princess Consort Meng's face. Feeling the coldness on her cheek and seeing Yi Xiao's emotionless expression, Princess Consort Meng remained silent. Your Royal Majesty, let me take you to rest. Huan Er, wait for me. The Empress, leaning on Jiang Peihuan, approached Princess Consort Meng. Princess Consort Meng was deeply afraid of Jiang Peihuan and Yi Xiao, but when facing the Empress, her pride shone. She coldly said, Your Royal Majesty, do not forget the affection between the Emperor and me. You slap. Before Princess Consort Meng could finish, the Empress slapped her across the face. Her palm tingled, but the Empress' eyes gleamed with satisfaction. I've wanted to slap you for a long time. Stunned, Princess Consort Meng glared at the Empress before her. After a few seconds she bellowed, How dare you hit me, you? Why can't I? You're just a princess consort, while I am the Empress. I'm the official wife, and you're the concubine. Why shouldn't I slap you? The Empress slapped Princess Consort Meng again. Enraged, Princess Consort Meng tried to charge at the Empress, but was firmly restrained by Yi Xiao. Yi Xiao, find a place to lock her up. Well, let the Emperor decide her fate later. Yes. Chapter 356. Xiao Nani arrives. Let go of me, let go of me. When she was caught, Princess Consort Meng struggled desperately, but those brought by Yi Xiao didn't pay her any mind. At this moment, Princess Consort Meng shouted at Jiang Peihuan. Jiang Peihuan, dare you lay a hand on me? Do you want to defy your superior? Aren't you afraid that the Jiang family will be implicated because of you? Princess Consort, it is you who are defying your superior, not me. Jiang Peihuan interrupted before Princess Consort Meng could finish. Afterward, Jiang Peihuan didn't give her another glance. Just then, hurried footsteps were heard from outside. Jiang Peihuan's expression changed instantly. The sound of uniform footsteps reached her ears. Soon, she saw a group of soldiers marching towards her, their eyes cold. Clearly they were foes, not friends. Then a man wearing a purple gold crown appeared. It was Prince Rui. Upon seeing Jiang Peihuan, his eyes filled with excitement. He seemed to notice no one else and directly ordered the people beside him. Quickly capture Queen Cheng. As Prince Rui's words fell, the soldiers immediately moved forward. But at this moment, the Empress shouted coldly, Stop! Prince Rui, what are you trying to do? Seeing the Empress, Prince Rui frowned but still stepped forward to bow. Your son pays his respects, Imperial Mother. Though he bowed, the look he gave the Empress held not an ounce of respect. After his bow, before the Empress could speak, Prince Rui said, Imperial Mother, one just want to take Jiang Peihuan away. Do not interfere in matters that don't concern you. And what if one choose to interfere? As the words of Prince Rui ended, the Empress spoke immediately. Stepping forward, she stared at Prince Rui. Would you dare kill me? Heh! Hearing the Empress' words, Prince Rui let out a cold chuckle as if hearing a pleasant joke. Though a faint smile lingered on his face, his eyes were filled with gloom and mockery. Staring coldly at the Empress, Prince Rui whispered, Since you refused the toast, Imperial Mother, please don't blame me. With that he commanded, Spare only Queen Cheng. Kill the rest. Prince Rui, the Empress is your Imperial Mother. How dare you? Once one ascend to the throne, none of this will matter. Attack! Yi Xiao, protect the Empress. Seeing the soldiers rushing in, Jiang Peihuan quickly turned to Yi Xiao. Worry filled Yi Xiao's eyes, but he positioned himself in front of the Empress. All eyes were on the Empress and Jiang Peihuan. No one noticed Princess Consort Meng. Taking this opportunity, Princess Consort Meng slipped away from the Kuan-Ning Palace. Empress, follow me. Seeing more soldiers pouring in, Jiang Peihuan grabbed the Empress' hand and ran towards the back of the palace. As she ran, Jiang Peihuan felt a slight pain in her abdomen, but she couldn't care less now. Jiang Peihuan, where do you think you can escape to today? Prince Rui's voice echoed in her ears. Then a cold breeze brushed past Jiang Peihuan's ear. Instinctively, she pushed the Empress away. A long sword thrust past her. Jiang Peihuan drew out a whip and lashed back. Princess Rui, holding a long sword, stared intently at Jiang Peihuan. Jiang Peihuan wanted to strike first, but a sharp pain from her abdomen made her instinctively cover her stomach. Huan Er. The Empress, witnessing this, hastily grasped Jiang Peihuan's hand. Upon seeing this, Prince's eyes flashed surprise. Still, he coldly said, Jiang Peihuan, now you can no longer, ugh. Before Rui Wang could finish, he felt a sharp pain in his shoulder. He instinctively turned around to see Xiao Nani rushing towards him. Desperation filled Xiao Nani's eyes as he ran with Han Feng. Huan Er. Reaching the Empress' side, Xiao Nani immediately embraced Jiang Peihuan, who at this point looked extremely pale. But upon seeing Xiao Nani, she managed a weak smile. Xiao Nani, Huan Er? Before Jiang Peihuan could finish, she blacked out. Witnessing this, Xiao Nani was consumed with worry. He continuously called out to the unconscious Jiang Peihuan, but she showed no response. Nani, quickly take Huan Er to the chamber and summon the imperial doctor. Hearing the Empress' command, Xiao Nani cradled Jiang Peihuan. Soon after, Yi Xiao approached. After checking Jiang Peihuan's pulse, Yi Xiao informed Xiao Nani. The queen is overly fatigued and has disturbed her fetal energy. She needs proper rest. While speaking, Yi Xiao gave Jiang Peihuan another acupuncture treatment and changed the bandage on her arm. Seeing Jiang Peihuan's injury, Xiao Nani's eyes darkened. Who caused this injury to the queen? After you and the great general entered the palace, the general's mansion was surrounded. The queen and the third young master defended the entrance, and those people set the mansion on fire. The queen was injured while protecting the people inside, Yi Xiao whispered. Although Yi Xiao's words were brief, Xiao Nani could clearly sense the severity of the situation. Observing the unconscious Jiang Peihuan, Xiao Nani quietly asked, Where are the old madam and the others? The queen asked the old madam, the second and third madams, and the young master to escape through a secret tunnel. Yi Xiao replied. Upon hearing this, Xiao Nani turned to Han Feng. Notify the young general to rendezvous with them. Yes. Master, what about the emperor? No need to worry. Aren't all the princes here? Xiao Nani's words contained a hint of sarcasm. Seeing this, Han Feng chose not to say more and promptly left. Jiang Changbai continued to assist the princes in repelling the invaders. After hearing Han Feng's words, he immediately left the palace. Upon leaving, Jiang Changbai headed to the suburbs, knowing the location of the general's mansion's secret passage. In the suburbs of the capital, a child's crying emanated from a carriage. Hearing the cries, Zhou Rongfang became increasingly anxious. Seeing this, Lu Xian asked, Second madam, did the nanny come with us? Zhou Rongfang shook her head in response. After a moment, Lu Xian instructed someone outside, Get some warm water. After making these arrangements, Lu Xian turned to the Jiang family. Let the young master drink some warm water first. Once we stop, we'll find some food for him. Chapter 357. Lu Xian saving everyone. Now this is all we can do. Xianer, how did you end up here? At this moment, Lu Xiu turned to her niece. The secret tunnel was narrow, making it impossible to transport the cart. As the Jiang family emerged in the suburbs and were at a loss, they saw Lu Xian approaching. Soon after, they all boarded Lu Xin's cart. Hearing Lu Xiu's words, Lu Xian whispered, The city is in chaos. My father and elder brother, concerned for my safety, ordered someone to escort me out of the city to our country estate. I saw you all while passing by and came over. Anyway, we're really indebted to you today. At this, old Madame Jiang softly addressed Lu Xian. Hearing this, Lu Xian quickly responded, Old Madam, please don't say that. Anyone would have done the same. Old Madame Jiang didn't add anything further, but her look towards Lu Xian became even warmer. Counting this instance, it was the second time Lu Xian had come to her aid. Perhaps this was destiny. She should no longer hinder that matter. Thinking of it, the old madam's gaze inadvertently settled on Lu Xian. Setting aside Lu family's origins, she was quite pleased with Lu Xian herself. Miss, there are pursuers coming from behind. At this moment, the coachman outside suddenly spoke up. Hearing this, Lu Xin's complexion changed. The expressions of everyone else in the cart also shifted. What should we do? Zhou Rongfang exclaimed in full panic. Lu Xian directly lifted the curtain and asked the person outside, "Do you know who these pursuers are?" After a brief silence, the coachman whispered, "I don't recognize them, but they seem to be strangers. Speed up and head straight to the estate." "Yes." Hearing Lu Xin's command, the coachman immediately whipped the horses into a faster pace. Lu Xian quickly steadied old Madame Jiang, whispering, "Hold on a little longer, old madam. We'll be there soon." "I'm fine, don't mind me." Seeing that Lu Xian was still worried about her even at this time, the old madam softly replied. Despite the cart's speed, it was no match for the pursuers' horses. Fortunately, before the pursuers could catch up, Lu Xian and the others entered the estate and shut the gate behind them. However, the moment the gate closed, the sound of pounding was heard. Before Lu Xian could even take a breather, her eyes reflected her deep concern. "What should we do now?" "Second sister-in-law, please calm down." "How can I stay calm? If I'd known, I would have gone somewhere else." Would you just shut up?" Hearing Zhou Rongfang's constant chatter, old Madame Jiang, with eyes full of anger, scolded. Zhou Rongfang wanted to say something but couldn't muster a word against the old madam's fierce gaze. At this point, Lu Xian turned to Lu Xiao. "Auntie, take old Madame Jiang and the second lady to hide in the cellar." "What about you?" "I'll stay here and guard." "One. No." Before Lu Xiao could even speak, the old madam interrupted Lu Xin's words. Looking at her, the old madam whispered, "How can we leave you alone here?" "Old madam, if we're all here and they break in, we will all die. Rather than that, we should. Miss, look, it's young Master Jiang." Before Lu Xing could finish her sentence, a maidservant beside her exclaimed. Hearing this, Lu Xian hurriedly moved to the second floor. Old Madame Jiang's eyes also revealed a hint of a smile. Looking at Lu Xiao, she whispered, "It must be Changbai who has come. Quickly help me up." "Mother, please be careful." Lu Xiao held old Madame's hand, speaking softly. From the second floor, Lu Xian could clearly see the scene outside the gate. Jiang Changbai was riding a white horse, followed by a group of attendants. The man was tall and handsome, holding a long sword. When Lu Xian saw Jiang Changbai, the man on the horse also looked at her. Their eyes met, and a brilliant smile appeared in Jiang Shangbai's eyes. However, that smile turned fierce when he saw the soldiers at the gate. A moment later, all the men at the gate were killed by Jiang Changbai. Entering the mansion, Jiang Changbai knelt before old Madame. "Grandmother, I apologize for my tardiness. I'm sorry you were frightened. Quickly get up." Seeing Jiang Changbai in white, the old Madame's eyes welled up with tears. Holding Jiang Shangbai's hand, she immediately asked, "Have you seen Huan Er? How is she?" Mentioning Jiang Peihuan, old Madame's eyes were filled with worry and a tinge of redness. Seeing her expression, Jiang Changbai quickly reassured, "Grandmother, don't worry. Huan Er is fine. She's in the palace, and King Cheng is with her." "That's good. That's good." Hearing this, the old madam finally sighed in relief. However, what Jiang Changbai said next made her look distressed. "Grandmother, our mansion has been burnt down. We won't be able to live there for a while." Hearing this, the old madam looked sad, but after a moment she softly replied, "It doesn't matter. As long as you're all safe, everything else is external." "Aunt, the old madam and second madam must be exhausted. Maybe they should rest first." "Mother, let me help you rest." Old madam was indeed old, and her nerves had been tense with fear. Seeing Jiang Changbai, she felt relieved but utterly exhausted. She nodded at Lu Xiao's words. After everyone left, Lu Xian turned to Jiang Changbai. "Are you hurt?" "I'm fine." While speaking, Lu Xian carefully inspected him, ensuring he had no injuries. She then breathed a sigh of relief. "Xian heir, thank you for everything." "Brother Jiang, there's no need for thanks between us." She spoke with a smile in her eyes. Seeing her smile, Jiang Changbai instinctively blurted out, "Xian heir, once all of this is over, I will come to the Lu family to propose." Propose. Hearing Jiang Shangbai's words, Lu Xin's eyes revealed a hint of surprise. However, thinking of old Madame Jiang, that surprise quickly faded. Looking at the man before her, she whispered, "The old madam probably won't agree to our marriage. If grandmother disagrees, I will convince her. Besides, she always dotes on Huan Air. If I ask Huan Air to mediate, it will surely work. And I've decided. Even if grandmother doesn't agree, I will still marry you." Hearing this, Lu Xian didn't say anything, because she genuinely liked Jiang Changbai and truly wanted to marry him. In the imperial palace. Perhaps because she saw Xiao Nani, Jiang Peihuan felt relaxed. As a result, she slept till evening. Chapter 358. Becoming the crown prince. When she opened her eyes, Jiang Peihuan felt a bit dazed. For some reason, she instinctively touched her belly. At that moment, a warmth seeped into Jiang Peihuan's palm, and turning her head, she saw the face of Xiao Nani. The man sat by the bed, gently holding her hand. He whispered, "You don't need to worry. The child in your womb is safe." Hearing this, Jiang Peihuan sighed in relief. The man grabbed a cup of water from the bedside. "You've slept for a long time, have some water." Had Xiao Nani not mentioned it, she wouldn't have noticed, but now Jiang Peihuan felt incredibly thirsty. Seeing him hand her the cup, she reached out to take it, but he moved it away, choosing instead to bring it to her lips himself. With the aid of Xiao Nani's hands, Jiang Peihuan finished the water in the cup. After drinking, she felt her throat much more comfortable. "Would you like more?" Xiao Nani asked softly, looking at her. Hearing his voice, Jiang Peihuan shook her head. Then, she looked at him and asked, "Is everything settled?" "Yes," he nodded in response to Jiang Peihuan's inquiry. "Prince Rui has been presented to imperial brother, and Princess Consort Meng has been handed over to him for punishment. Oh right, I've already asked Changbai elder brother to look for grandmother and the others, so you don't have to worry. Greetings to the great general and first madam." At this moment, the voice of Yi Xiao came from outside the door. Shortly after, Jiang Peihuan saw Jiang Hong and Shui Yin enter. "Father, mother?" Seeing them, Jiang Peihuan attempted to sit up but was held back by Shui Yin. "Don't move." Coming to the bedside, Shui Yin carefully looked at Jiang Peihuan and then lamented. "Being pregnant, you should have been resting well, but instead, you had to go through this." "Mother, don't worry, I'm okay. The child in my belly is also fine." "Father, is the situation in Qianqing Palace resolved?" While Shui Yin and Jiang Peihuan talked, Xiao Nani looked at Jiang Hong and spoke. Hearing this, Jiang Peihuan turned her gaze to Jiang Hong. Meeting their eyes, Jiang Hong gave a complicated nod. Seeing the look in Jiang Hong's eyes, Jiang Peihuan couldn't help but ask, "Father, did something happen in Qianqing Palace?" Just now, Prince Qing was appointed as the crown prince by the emperor. "What did you say?" Hearing Jiang Hong's words, Jiang Peihuan exclaimed. Even in her previous life, Xiao Juanhao had never been appointed as the crown prince. He only held significant power. How could he be named the crown prince in this life? Surprise filled Jiang Peihuan's eyes, but Xiao Nani's expression remained unfazed. After Jiang Hong spoke, Xiao Nani calmly said, "What exactly happened in Qianqing Palace?" Hearing Xiao Nani's words, Jiang Hong nodded. He then whispered, "Prince Rui suddenly broke free from his restraints in Qianqing Palace. When he tried to assassinate the emperor, Prince Qing shielded the emperor with his body." Upon hearing this, Jiang Peihuan's eyes were filled with mixed emotions. However, Shui Yin changed the topic immediately. Looking at Jiang Peihuan, who was lying in bed, she whispered, "This is the Empress chamber. It's not appropriate for you to recover here. It's best if you leave the palace soon. However, one heard that the general's mansion was burned down. You should return to the Cheng mansion with him for the time being." "Mother, it will take some time to repair the general's mansion. During this period, you, father, and grandmother can all stay at the Cheng's mansion," Jiang Peihuan suggested. As soon as Shui Yin finished speaking, Xiao Nani turned to address her. However, upon hearing this, Shui Yin shook her head. Seeing her mother's reaction, Jiang Peihuan couldn't help but say, "Mother, are you worried about being a burden?" The Cheng mansion is large, you? It's not because of that. Before Jiang Peihuan could finish, Shui Yin gently interrupted. Facing Jiang Peihuan's puzzled expression, Shui Yin continued, regardless, now that Prince Qing has been appointed crown prince, the situation in the court will change rapidly. If your father and I move to the Qing's mansion now, it might attract unnecessary gossip. Hearing this, Jiang Peihuan frowned but remained silent. At this moment, Jiang Hong softly spoke, Huan heir, don't worry about us. Some time ago, your mother bought a house in the city. Although it's small, it's good enough for us to live in temporarily. Greetings to the Empress. Suddenly, footsteps were heard from the entrance, and Jiang Peihuan saw the Empress coming in, supported by a maidservant. Upon seeing her, Jiang Hong and his wife quickly bowed. Jiang Peihuan also tried to rise in respect, but the Empress stopped her saying, Huan heir, you're not in good health, no need for formalities. Taking the Empress' advice, Jiang Peihuan didn't insist. However, after the Empress sat down, Jiang Peihuan spoke up. Your Royal Majesty, I plan to leave the palace soon. Why so soon? Recovering in your quarters isn't proper. Your kindness and compassion are evident, but I cannot cause you trouble. What trouble are you talking about? If it weren't for you, the child in my womb might not have survived. People say that after a great calamity, good fortune follows. After this ordeal, I believe there is good fortune ahead for your Royal Majesty. I hope what you say is true. Hearing Jiang Peihuan's words, the Empress' eyes were full of smiles. But when she thought of the recent events in the Qianqing Palace, her smile quickly faded. Addressing Jiang Peihuan, she whispered, I assume you already know about the events in the Qianqing Palace? Jiang Peihuan didn't respond verbally but simply nodded. Seeing her nod, the Empress' eyes revealed a hint of bitterness, yet she didn't say anything further. An hour later, Jiang Peihuan and Xiao Nani left the palace together. From the moment they left Kuanning Palace, Xiao Nani carried Jiang Peihuan all the way. Even though she repeatedly told him she was fine, he insisted on carrying her, leaving her no choice but to acquiesce. Xiao Nani then helped Jiang Peihuan into the carriage. The carriage then headed towards the Cheng's mansion. Though Jiang Peihuan and Xiao Nani hadn't lived there for a long time, the mansion was still well maintained. Yu heir and Lu heir, their servants, had already arrived. Once they were in the courtyard, Xiao Nani carried Jiang Peihuan into their room. Once she was laid on the bed, Jiang Peihuan looked at the man beside her and said, Xiao Nani, I'm really fine. You don't have to be so careful. Yi Xiao already told me. You've had 2 miscarriage scares, so you need to rest and recover. For the following days, Xiao Nani stayed by Jiang Peihuan's side, even foregoing his duties at court. Chapter 359. Acting as a lobbyist regarding this, Jiang Peihuan felt helpless, but there was nothing she could do. Until the 10th day, Jiang Changbai came to King Cheng's mansion. Jiang Peihuan hadn't left her room for 10 days straight. When she saw Jiang Changbai sitting in front of her, her eyes were full of joy. Elder brother, how come you have time to visit today? Huan heir, I came here today because there's an important matter one want to ask you. Just tell me what it is, elder brother. One need to rest. Before Jiang Peihuan could reply, Xiao Nani, sitting next to her, spoke up first. However, upon hearing this, Jiang Changbai shook his head and whispered, No one else can handle this matter except for Huan heir. Elder brother, tell me, what is it? I want to marry Xian heir. You want to marry Xian heir? Joy filled Jiang Peihuan's eyes. After seeing Jiang Changbai nod, she said with a smile, If I'm not wrong, elder brother, you want me to speak on your behalf to our grandmother? Jiang Peihuan spoke with certainty. Upon hearing her words, Jiang Changbai nodded. Seeing his nod, Jiang Peihuan paused for a few seconds before continuing. Elder brother, although grandmother loves me, she might not agree when it comes to your marriage. Considering the matters of our third aunt and third uncle, and now you wanting to marry Xian heir, she might not be able to accept it easily. What will you do if grandmother refuses no matter what? After hearing Jiang Peihuan's words, Jiang Changbai fell silent. After a long while he whispered, Huan heir, to be honest, I've made up my mind. Regardless of whether grandmother agrees or not, I will marry Xian heir. If she supports me and Xian heir, I would be eternally grateful. But if she doesn't, one will have to apologize to her. Hearing this, both Jiang Peihuan and Xiao Nani became silent. Eventually Jiang Peihuan said with a smile, "No worries, I'll speak on your behalf to our grandmother. If she refuses, I'll go see her multiple times. Given how much she dotes on me, she might agree." "What will you do to thank me then?" Seeing the smile on Jiang Peihuan's face, Jiang Changbai also smiled, meeting her gaze. He said, "If you can get grandmother's approval for my marriage to Xian heir, I will always heed your advice in the future. Whatever you ask of me, one won't refuse." "You better remember what you promised," she teased. 2 hours later, Jiang Peihuan and Xiao Nani headed to the Jiang family residence. The residence was much smaller than the general's mansion, but the largest courtyard in the back was reserved for old Madame Jiang. When Jiang Peihuan and Xiao Nani entered the courtyard, old Madame Jiang was chatting with Lu Xiao. Shui Yan was busy, and Zhou Rongfang was taking care of her children. The only person available to accompany old Madame Jiang in the backyard was Lu Xiao. Initially, old Madame Jiang didn't like Lu Xiao much. However, after everything that happened, old Madame Jiang had changed her mind. Now the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law got along well. Seeing Jiang Peihuan and Xiao Nani, old Madame Jiang smiled warmly. "What brings you two here today? How's the baby in your belly?" As she spoke, old Madame Jiang couldn't resist gently touching Jiang Peihuan's stomach. Seeing the concern in old Madame Jiang's eyes, Jiang Peihuan whispered, "Don't worry, grandmother. The baby is doing well." "That's good. In just over half a year, I'll become a great-grandmother." "Grandmother, the reason I came today is on someone else's behalf." "Oh, whose behalf?" "My elder brother." Hearing old Madame Jiang's response, Jiang Peihuan didn't hesitate and began to speak. Upon hearing the name Jiang Changbai, the eyes of the old madam flickered. Sitting nearby, Lu Xiao seemed to recall something, revealing a complex expression in her eyes. "Grandmother, elder brother said he wants to start a family and marry a sister-in-law for me." "Your elder brother is not young anymore, and it's about time for him to get married. This is good news." "That's what I think too, but the girl elder brother wants to marry needs your approval, grandmother." "He wants to marry Xian heir, doesn't he?" Before Jiang Peihuan could continue, the old madam interrupted. Seeing the old madam's directness, a hint of worry appeared in Jiang Peihuan's eyes. However, she nodded with a smile. "Nothing can be hidden from you, grandmother." The old madam sighed deeply and then laughed, looking at Jiang Peihuan. "My dear, don't think one don't know what's on your mind. Did you all assume that I would oppose this marriage? Initially one did oppose it, but that girl has saved my life twice. Even if I had reservations, I should let them go." "Grandmother, does that mean you agree?" Hearing the old madam's words, Jiang Peihuan was full of surprise. Sitting nearby, Lu Xiao's eyes widened, filled with excitement. However, the old madam glared at Jiang Peihuan. "Despite my usual affection for you in critical times, you still side with that boy Changbai." "Never mind, call that boy over." "Grandmother?" Before the old madam could finish, Jiang Changbai rushed in. After kneeling and paying respects to the old madam, he looked at her with gratitude. "Thank you, grandmother, for your blessing." The old madam originally wanted to maintain her stern demeanor, but seeing Jiang Shangbai's joy, a smile appeared in her eyes. She said, "Get up. Xian heir is a good girl. You must treat her well in the future." "Yes." "You, Zhen, bring the things I prepared." "Yes." Nanny had been standing quietly on the side. After hearing the old madam's words, she went inside. Moments later, she returned holding a large wooden box. Seeing the box in Nanny's hands, the old madam whispered, "Give it to him." "Grandmother, what is this?" Holding the box handed to him by Nanny Su, Jiang Changbai looked at the old madam with puzzlement. "Open it and take a look." Upon the old madam's instruction, Jiang Changbai opened the box. The moment he opened it, he was stunned. The entire box was filled with land deeds and silver notes. "Grandmother, one can't accept this. This is your personal savings. How can I take it?" If I give it to you, you take it. After the wedding, you'll be an adult. Consider this a wedding gift from your grandmother. Elder brother, I've successfully completed the task for you. Shouldn't you share half of what grandmother gave you with me? Chapter 360. Jiang Shangbai's wedding. Jiang Changbai was about to refuse when Jiang Peihuan laughed and spoke up. Upon hearing this, before Jiang Changbai could respond, the old madam tapped Jiang Peihuan's forehead with a hint of annoyance. You little girl, when you got married, what I gave you was even more than this. And yet, you still have eyes on your elder brother's gift. Your Highness. At this moment, the old madam suddenly turned to Xiao Nani. Xiao Nani had been sitting quietly on the side. The kind of familial bond displayed in the Jiang family was something he had never experienced before. Honestly, Xiao Nani felt envious. Hearing the old madam addressing him, Xiao Nani looked at her warmly and replied, Grandmother? At this point, the old madam took out a sandalwood box from somewhere. At that time, I didn't know whether Huan heir would be a boy or a girl, so I prepared 2 gifts. I've kept this jade crown since then. I've already given gifts to Changbai and Songbai. I will give this white jade crown to you. I hope you will not disdain it. Taking the box from Nanny Su, Xiao Nani carefully opened it. A pure white jade crown lay quietly inside. Seeing the crown, a warm feeling surged in Xiao Nani's heart. Closing the lid gently, Xiao Nani smiled at old Madame Jiang and said, Thank you, grandmother. As he spoke, Xiao Nani respectfully bowed to old Madame Jiang. Quick, get up, urged the old madam upon seeing his gesture. Jiang Peihuan watched this scene with a smile in her eyes. She knew that Xiao Nani's respect for the Jiang family was because of her, and the Jiang family's regard for Xiao Nani was also because of her. She felt so fortunate to be cherished by so many. After the old madam approved of Jiang Changbai and Lu Xin's marriage, Jiang Hong and Shui Yin had no objections. 3 days later, Jiang Peihuan and Lu Xiu visited the Lu residence. They brought with them a generous dowry. The Lu family was wealthy, but the gifts signified the high regard they had for Lu Xian. Seeing these gifts, the Lu family looked pleased. Lu Xiu personally discussed the marriage with the Lu family. Once the date was set, Shui Yin and Jiang Hong would visit. As for Jiang Peihuan, she went to Lu Xin's courtyard. Sister Jiang, thank you, Lu Xian whispered, supporting Jiang Peihuan. Lu Xian supported Jian Peihuan and said softly. Hearing this, Jiang Peihuan chuckled softly. In a short while 111 have to call you sister-in-law. Sister Jiang. Hearing this, Lu Xin's cheeks flushed. As they sat in the pavilion, Lu Xian, recalling her concerns, couldn't help but ask, Sister Jiang, is the old madam angry about this? Seeing the worry in Lu Xin's eyes, Jiang Peihuan held her hand and whispered, Xian heir, rest assured, grandmother is very pleased with this marriage. You have nothing to worry about. Although grandmother is stubborn, she is essentially kind-hearted. I know. In the future, when I go to the Jiang family, I will surely be filial to old Madame Jiang. The Jiang family treated the Lu family with great respect, and the Lu family was very gracious in return. Thus, the wedding of Jiang Changbai and Lu Xian was set for half a month later. When the news of this marriage spread, the people of the capital discussed it animatedly. Some said that Lu Xian was fortunate, as a merchant's daughter, to marry the eldest son of the general's mansion. Others whispered that Lu Xian had used underhanded methods. Regardless of the gossip, the wedding day for Jiang Changbai and Lu Xian finally arrived. 3 days in advance, the Lu family began their charity work, bringing joy and festivities throughout the city. The only exception was the Prince Qing's mansion. In a secluded corner of the Qing mansion, Xueru sat hunched in a chair, her eyes dark and stormy. After Jiang Yan's death, Xiao Juanhao did not kill Xueru. Instead, he let her be sent by Lin Mengyao to this remote corner. After Jiang Meng's death, Xiao Juanhao didn't kill Xueru, but he didn't care about her either. Lin Mengyao sent her to this remote corner. The Lu family is truly wealthy. They are distributing silver on the streets. Yes, I even received a silver coin. Whispers from outside drifted into Xueru's ears. Angered by what she heard, Xueru's already dark expression twisted malevolently. Rising, she took a silver hairpin from her hair and approached the two maids from behind, stabbing them with the pin. In moments, they fell to the ground. Looking at the maids, a creepy smile formed on Shui-Ru's pale face. She bent down to snatch the silver coins from their hands and promptly left the courtyard. After Shui-Ru's departure, someone hurried to Lin Mengio's chambers. Side princess consort, that secondary consort Shui has left. Lin Mengyao, in the midst of combing her hair, paused. Do you know where she went? It seems she's headed to the general's mansion. Let her be. If necessary, send someone to assist her. Yes. At the general's mansion, the entire place was adorned in festive red. After renovations, the mansion looked grander than before. Today, draped in the auspicious color, it seemed exceptionally joyous. In the main hall, Jiang Peihuan, Xiao Nani, and the Jiang family gathered for the wedding ceremony. Jiang Hong and his wife, Shui Yan, sat at the head seats, waiting with smiles. They're here. Father, mother, elder brother, they've returned. Jiang Xijin, eyes sparkling with excitement, announced the arrival, and firecrackers erupted. Everyone saw the bridegroom, Jiang Changbai, in bright red, with what appeared to be Lu Xian, her head covered with a red bridal veil, following behind him. As Lu Xian ascended the stairs, Jiang Peihuan's brow furrowed slightly. The couple prepared to bow to the heavens and the earth. However, just as they were about to kneel, a weak voice called out, "Wait!" Both Jiang Peihuan and Jiang Changbai froze. The bride yanked off her veil, revealing a dagger that she thrust at Jiang Changbai. Everything happened in a flash. As Jiang Peihuan tried to intervene, it was too late. Suddenly, a figure rushed forward, kicking the impostor away. The fake bride was not Lu Xian, but Shui-Ru. Xiao Nanya's swift action saved the day. Only then did everyone's gaze turn to the entrance where the real Lu Xing, also in red but pale-faced, stood. Xian heir? Seeing her, Jiang Changbai rushed to her side. Grasping Jiang Shengbai's hand, Lu Xian, her eyes filled with rage, pointed at Shui-Ru. She impersonated a maid from the Jiang family, infiltrated the mansion, and knocked me unconscious. Everyone's eyes turned to Shui-Ru, filled with anger. Shui-Ru's eyes, meanwhile, bore into the Jiang family with pure hatred, especially at Shui Yan. Shui-Ru, why have you done this? Chapter 361. Marriage. At this moment, the look on Shui Yan's face as she gazed at Shui-Ru was filled with both confusion and annoyance. Why? Ha, you're asking me? Upon hearing Shui Yan's words, Shui-Ru let out a burst of laughter, her smile filled with mockery. It was I who first took a liking to Jiang Changbai. Why did you refuse to let me marry him? You had your eyes on Changbai? Hearing Shui-Ru's words, Shui Yan was taken aback. However, after a few seconds of reflection, rage filled Shui Yan's eyes. She looked at Shui-Ru coldly and said, "Just because of this, you persist in plotting against the Jiang family? Putting aside the fact that Changbai doesn't like you, even with your character, our Jiang family wouldn't accept you." You. Seeing the undisguised disdain in Shui Yan's eyes, Shui-Ru's own eyes blazed with anger. "Mother, don't bother with her. Just kill her." At this point, Jiang Changbai spoke up. Having gone to the battlefield at a young age, Jiang Changbai was never known to be merciful. Given the events of today and the animosities from before, his eyes were filled with fury. As his words trailed off, Jiang Changbai approached Shui-Ru, raising his long sword. But as he was about to strike, Jiang Peihuan intervened. Seeing it was Jiang Peihuan who stopped him, Jiang Shengbai's eyes filled with confusion. "Huan heir." Meeting his puzzled look, Jiang Peihuan hurriedly said, "Elder brother, today is your joyful wedding day with Xian heir. Do not spill blood and ruin the occasion." Hearing this, Jiang Shengbai's expression became stern. Yet he put down his sword. Jiang Peihuan turned to Yi Xiao and said, "Take her away." Yes. Following Jiang Peihuan's command, Yi Xiao escorted Shui-Ru out. The wedding then continued. However, Lu Xian did not change her outfit and proceeded to pay respects to heaven and earth alongside Jiang Changbai. After the wedding concluded, Jiang Peihuan immediately went to Yanlin. Xiao Nani followed close behind. "Why have you both come?" Fatigue was evident in Shui Yan's eyes. While Jiang Peihuan was concerned, she still asked, "Mother, how do you plan to deal with Shuiru? This matter is not for you to worry about. I'll handle it," Shuiyin promptly replied. Wanting to speak up, Jiang Peihuan felt a tug on her sleeve. Turning around, she saw Xiao Nani shaking his head at her. After a moment's thought, Jiang Peihuan nodded. "Then I'll leave it to Mother. Now that you're pregnant, you should go back and rest." "Yes." After bidding Shuiyin farewell, Jiang Peihuan and Xiao Nani left Yinlin. The general's mansion was newly renovated, and the plum garden remained unchanged. On the way to the garden, Jiang Peihuan couldn't help but turn to the man beside her and ask, "Why did you stop me earlier?" At this point, Mother is already in a very difficult position, and she already has her own thoughts in mind. If you keep asking, it will put pressure on her. Hearing this, Jiang Peihuan's eyes revealed a trace of thought. After a long time she nodded, "I understand." Regarding the matter of Shuiru, no one in the general's mansion mentioned it again, and everyone's attention was placed on Jiang Changbai and Lu Xian. The next day, Jiang Peihuan went to the Chrysanthemum Hall early. After all, today was the first day Lu Xian met the elders. When Jiang Peihuan and Xiao Nani arrived at the Chrysanthemum Hall, almost all the Jiang family members had arrived. Even Jiang Ruyun and Qiao Jun were there. Seeing Jiang Peihuan arrive, everyone greeted her with smiles. The old madam took her hand directly. "Old madam, eldest young master and Miss Lu are here." At this moment, the voice of a maid came from outside the door. Then, everyone looked towards the entrance. Lu Xian and Jiang Changbai walked in together. Since they were newlyweds, both were dressed festively. Xiao Nani wore a red robe, and Lu Xian also wore a red dress. Seeing the two coming together, both the old madam and Shuiyin showed smiles on their faces. Among them, Lu Xiu was the happiest. Lu Xian was her niece. In the Jiang family, although everyone was kind, having Lu Xian as a companion always made Lu Xiu feel more comfortable. Greetings to grandmother. Amid everyone's smiles, Lu Xian and Jiang Changbai knelt down to greet old Madame Jiang. Seeing them kneel, the old madam quickly said, "Quickly get up. Yuzhan, help them up." Upon hearing the old madam's words, Nanny Su quickly stepped forward to help Lu Xian up. At this time, the old madam handed Lu Xian a red envelope and a box. "This is a gift from your grandmother, take it." Seeing the gifts from the old madam, Lu Xian quickly thanked her. "Thank you, grandmother." After greeting the old madam, Lu Xian then greeted Jiang Hong and Shuiyin. "Father, please have some tea. Mother, please have some tea." Both Jiang Hong and Shuiyin gave generous gifts. Jiang Yuan and Jiang Ren also gave gifts. After that, it was time for Lu Xian to give her gifts. Since Jiang Changbai was the eldest in the family, after marrying into the Jiang family, Lu Xian became the eldest sister-in-law. Seeing Jiang Xijin and Jiang Songbai paying their respects, Lu Xian quickly told them to rise. After they stood up, Lu Xian took out the prepared gifts. Lu Xian prepared the 4 treasures of the study for Jiang Songbai. For Jiang Xijin, she prepared jewelry and a dagger inlaid with gems. Seeing the dagger, Jiang Xijin's eyes were full of smiles. "Thank you, eldest sister-in-law. I'm glad you like it." Seeing the smile in Jiang Xijin's eyes, Lu Xian also smiled. For Jiang Ruyun, Lu Xian prepared jewelry that was more in line with her temperament. Seeing the jewelry, Jiang Ruyun sincerely thanked. "Thank you, eldest sister-in-law." Finally, it was Jiang Peihuan's turn. Lu Xian handed Jiang Peihuan a box and said with a smile, "Sister Jiang, I know you lack nothing, but this peace pendant was personally selected by me. I hope you like it." Upon hearing Lu Xin's words, Jiang Peihuan opened the box. Inside lay a jade pendant for peace. Upon a glance, Jiang Peihuan knew it wasn't ordinary and smiled. "I really like it." "Thank you, eldest sister-in-law. Sister Jiang, you can just call me by my name from now on." Although Lu Xian was younger than Jiang Peihuan, she was her elder in terms of relationship. So they decided to call each other by their names. Chapter 362. Shuiru's death. The Jiang family's wedding celebration has come to an end. When everyone had left, Shui Yin went to the general's mansion's firewood room. Shuiru was lying in the firewood room, her eyes filled with hatred. When she heard a sound, she instinctively looked towards the door. Seeing the person who entered, Shuiru showed a hint of surprise in her eyes. "It's you? When do you plan to let me go? You might not be able to leave." Hearing Shui Yan's words, Shuiru was taken aback. After a few seconds of silence, she looked at Shui Yan and laughed. "Aunt, do you plan to kill me?" Although she was laughing, there was not a hint of a smile in Shuiru's eyes. On closer inspection, there was even a hint of panic. Hearing Shuiru's words, Shui Yan nodded and directly said, "You guessed right. I indeed plan to kill you." There was seriousness in Shui Yan's eyes. Seeing her expression, fear appeared in Shuiru's eyes. After a few seconds, her eyes darkened as she glared at Shui Yan. "Have you gone mad? I am your own niece. Because you're my niece, you've lived till now. Shuiru, one can't let you harm my child anymore. So today you must die. If you kill me, how will you explain to my father? I will seek forgiveness from Big Brother." As soon as Shuiru finished speaking, Shui Yan instructed someone by her side, "Bring it here." Following Shui Yan's command, a maid brought a bowl of medicine. "Give it to her." "No, I won't drink, one won't." Seeing the maid approaching her, Shuiru screamed in disbelief, unable to fathom that Shui Yan would actually kill her. But before Shuiru could finish, the maid grabbed her hand. The bowl of medicine was then poured into Shuiru's mouth. Watching this scene, Shui Yan showed no emotion. Soon, blood spewed from Shuiru's mouth. She looked at Shui Yan with eyes filled with pain and a hint of complexity. Shui Yan just silently watched Shuiru, saying nothing. News of this spread quickly. The Plum Garden received the news as well. Hearing Yu Er's words, Jiang Paihuan's eyes showed a hint of complexity. After a while she softly asked, "How did mother deal with Shuiru's body?" First, Madame sent Miss Shui's body back to the Prince Qing's mansion. Prince Qing's mansion? Xiao Juanhao was still recovering, with Lin Mingyao by his side. When will this wound heal? Looking at Lin Mingyao applying medicine, Xiao Juanhao softly inquired. After carefully tending to the wound, Lin Mingyao softly replied, "The wound is deep. It will take at least a month to heal." Hearing Lin Mengio's words, Xiao Juanhao frowned but remained silent. When he saw Prince Rui attempting to assassinate Emperor Qi Ming, Xiao Juanhao immediately stepped in to block. As Prince Rui's sword pierced his body, Xiao Juanhao was prepared to die, but surprisingly he survived. Not only did he survive, but he was also named Crown Prince by Emperor Qi Ming. When he heard this news, excitement filled Xiao Junhao's eyes. However, now he felt no excitement at all, because Emperor Qi Ming only named him Crown Prince, but showed no intention of letting him move into the East Palace. So even though Xiao Juanhao was now the Crown Prince, he still lived in the Prince Qing's mansion. "Your Highness." At this moment, the voice of a maid came from outside the door. Lin Mingyao looked at Xiao Juanhao then walked outside. "What is it?" When she stepped out, Lin Mengio's eyes were filled with coldness. The maid quickly spoke, "Your Highness, the body of secondary consort Shui has been delivered to the mansion's entrance." "She's dead." "Yes." Seeing the maid nod, Lin Mingyao frowned. "Any news from the Jiang family?" "Everything is normal." Hearing this, Lin Mingyao frowned deeper. "Useless." "Your Highness, how should we handle secondary consort Shui's body? Just find a place and bury her." "Yes." As Lin Mingyao spoke, the maid wanted to say something. But meeting Lin Mengio's gaze, she remained silent. Jiang Yan died, Shuiru died. Now Lin Mingyao was the only princess consort in the Prince Qing mansion. Although Lin Mingyao was also a side consort, no one dared to address her as such in the current mansion. They all addressed her as Your Highness. After the maid left, Lin Mingyao returned to her room. Xiao Juanhao was leaning by the bed. Hearing the movement, he softly asked, "What happened?" "Your Highness, secondary consort Shui is dead." "She's dead." Hearing Lin Mengio's words, Xiao Juanhao, who had been resting with closed eyes, opened them. Seeing Lin Mingyao nod, he nonchalantly said, "Well, if she's dead, she's dead." From the moment Shuiru was abandoned by the Shui family, Xiao Juanhao felt nothing for her. Seeing Xiao Junhao's indifferent expression, Lin Mingjiu's eyes revealed complexity. She always knew he was heartless, but she didn't expect him to be this cold. Regarding the affairs of the prince's Qing mansion, Jiang Peihuan was unaware. Having stayed in the general's mansion for some time, Jiang Peihuan didn't linger this time. After Lu Xian returned 3 days later, Jiang Peihuan and Xiao Nani returned to Qing mansion. But as Jiang Peihuan alighted from the carriage, she saw a palace made from Kuan-Ning Palace waiting. Seeing Xiao Nani and Jiang Peihuan, she hurriedly approached. "Greetings, King and Queen Cheng. Why aren't you serving the Empress in the palace? Why are you here?" Xiao Nani inquired immediately upon seeing her. Seeing her, Xiao Nani spoke directly. Hearing Xiao Nani's words, the palace maid hurriedly explained, "Your Highness, the Empress is unwell. The nanny sent me to ask if the Queen could come to the palace." "What happened to the Empress?" "This servant doesn't know. Only that she began to have abdominal pains after waking up today." "Xiao Nani, let's go to the palace." Upon hearing this, Jiang Peihuan spoke without hesitation, looking to her husband. Xiao Nani nodded, and both got back into the carriage. Previously, Jiang Peihuan visited the Empress daily. But after the Empress' condition stabilized, she changed to visiting every 3 days. Counting the days, Jiang Peihuan was originally scheduled to check the Empress' pulse tomorrow. Following the palace maid to Kuan-Ning Palace, Xiao Nani went to Qianqing Hall. As Jiang Peihuan entered Kuan-Ning Palace, she heard the Empress moans. "Queen Cheng, you're here?" The people of Kuan-Ning Palace saw Jiang Peihuan as their last hope. The old nanny's eyes were filled with excitement upon seeing her. Jiang Peihuan approached the bed, and after paying respects to the Empress, she immediately checked her pulse. While doing so, she couldn't help but frown. What did the Empress eat these past few days? Hearing Jiang Peihuan's words, the old nanny quickly called the maid responsible for the Empress meals. Chapter 363. Heart of an Emperor. Hearing the palace maid's words, Jiang Peihuan frowned. "Huan did I eat something I shouldn't have?" Having experienced several similar situations before, the Empress had become familiar with Jiang Peihuan's character. So after the old nanny left, the Empress immediately asked. Upon hearing this, Jiang Peihuan nodded. "Your Royal Majesty's diet was initially fine. However, after you became pregnant, the Imperial Kitchen started preparing nourishing food for you, which was alright. But in yesterday's stew, they added mung beans and astragalus. Although there's usually no issue with these ingredients, if consumed frequently, they can be too cooling and cause stomach pain. There's no problem with these too, but if you drink them too many times, they'll be too cold and easily cause abdominal pain. Nanny, please check on this." "Yes." After the old nanny left, exhaustion filled the Empress' eyes. Looking at Jiang Peihuan's swelling belly, a hint of guilt flashed in the Empress' eyes. "Huan I'm sorry for causing you trouble. Now that you are pregnant, you should be resting at home. Because of me, you are constantly burdened." "Your Royal Majesty, please don't say that. Greetings to the Emperor." As Jiang Peihuan was about to speak, she heard voices from the entrance. Turning around, she saw Emperor Qi Ming stride towards them, followed by Xiao Nani. Upon seeing Emperor Qi Ming, Jiang Peihuan immediately stood up. "Greetings, Your Majesty." "Get up." The Empress tried to stand as well, but Emperor Qi Ming held her hand. "Empress, given your condition, you need not be overly formal." After the Empress lay back down, Emperor Qi Ming turned to Jiang Peihuan. "How is the child in the Empress' womb?" "Everything is fine." From the Emperor's question, Jiang Peihuan realized he was unaware of the Empress' stomach pain. Therefore, she didn't elaborate. Indeed, upon hearing her response, the Empress visibly relaxed. However, during the ensuing silence, Emperor Qi Ming suddenly asked Jiang Peihuan, "Do you know if the child in the Empress' womb is a boy or a girl?" Hearing this, Jiang Peihuan was taken aback. But she quickly replied, "Your Majesty, my medical skills are not refined enough to determine the gender." In reality, Jiang Peihuan could diagnose the gender. Her master, a renowned doctor, had taught her the technique. When she had just taken the Empress' pulse, Jiang Peihuan had deduced that the empress was carrying a male child. However, she chose not to mention it to avoid any complications. After hearing Jiang Peihuan's response, a hint of disappointment flashed in Emperor Qi Ming's eyes, but he didn't comment further. He simply said to the empress, "Regardless, the child in your womb is my direct heir. You must take good care of him." Yes. Jiang Peihuan, standing nearby, was puzzled. If Emperor Qi Ming valued the child in the empress womb so much, why had he appointed Xiao Juanhao as the crown prince? Yet, given the emperor's behavior, it was evident he regarded the unborn child highly. Jiang Peihuan couldn't understand the emperor's true intentions. With Emperor Qi Ming present, Jiang Peihuan didn't stay long. After paying her respects to the empress, she left Kuanning Palace with Xiao Nani. By the way, how is Princess Consort Ming? Imperial brother banished her to the cold palace. Hearing this, Jiang Peihuan felt that Emperor Qi Ming finally made a wise decision. After leaving the palace, the two directly boarded a carriage. However, as they traveled, Jiang Peihuan noticed they were not on the route back to Cheng's mansion. Curious, she opened the curtain and asked the man beside her, "Where are you taking me?" "You'll know when we get there," he replied. She chose not to press further. 2 hours later, the carriage came to a stop. What appeared before Jiang Peihuan's eyes was a courtyard, and right in front of the courtyard was a pond. Around this courtyard there were several others. Some of these courtyards were bustling with activity, indicating the presence of residents. The scenery here was incredibly beautiful. Even though it was winter, everything looked lush and green. Jiang Peihuan had been in the capital for a long time, but she never knew such a place existed within the city. Turning to the man beside her, she couldn't help but ask, "Where are we?" "South Mountain." "Is this really South Mountain?" The Qi Kingdom was located in the east, with the West Mountain being a hunting ground. The south was near the sea, so residents of the capital rarely ventured to the South Mountain. And even if they did, they would stay close to the city. Jiang Peihuan had never realized that there was such a beautiful landscape inside South Mountain. Xiao Nani assisted Jiang Peihuan out of the carriage and then looked at her saying, "The scenery here is quite captivating. Would you like to stay here for a few days?" Yes. The surroundings were indeed beautiful, and Jiang Peihuan was very fond of it. However, observing the residences nearby, Jiang Peihuan couldn't resist asking, "Who lives around here?" These residences were built by members of the royal clan. Upon hearing this, Jiang Peihuan did not press further. What Xiao Nani referred to as the royal clan meant they were members of the royal family. Jiang Peihuan followed Xiao Nani into the courtyard. The first thing she noticed was a swing set designed like a long bench. She couldn't wait to sit on it. Leaning back, Jiang Peihuan found it very comfortable. Suddenly, she felt a gentle motion. When she looked behind, she saw Xiao Nani gently pushing the swing. Suddenly, Jian Peihuan felt her body sway slightly. Jian Peihuan turned around and saw Xiao Nani standing behind her. The man reached out and gently pushed the chair. Han Feng and Yi Xiao, observing the scene, had already left to attend to other matters inside. Xiao Nani was careful not to push too hard, but Jiang Peihuan felt it wasn't high enough. She called out, "Xiao Nani, push a bit harder." Hearing her request, the man applied a bit more force. In an instant, Jiang Peihuan felt the swing arc higher. She felt the wind brushing past her ears. From her position, she could see the water in the pond and the flowers at the entrance of the courtyard. Jiang Peihuan was thoroughly enjoying the moment, but her serenity was soon disrupted by a voice from the entrance. "Who are you?" A woman in white walked into the courtyard. Even though it was winter, she was wearing a thin white dress. What struck Jiang Peihuan as even more odd was the white flower in the woman's hair, a clear sign that she was mourning someone's death. To Jiang Peihuan's knowledge, there were no recent deaths in the royal family, except for Prince Rui. If she was a relative of Prince Rui, she would recognize Xiao Nani. However, this woman clearly didn't. Xiao Nani also found this woman's sudden appearance a little strange. Upon hearing the commotion, Han Feng and Yi Xiao came out from the house. Seeing the woman in the courtyard, Han Feng coldly said, "This is Queen and King Cheng. Who are you?" The woman appeared momentarily surprised upon hearing Han Feng's words, but quickly regained her composure. Chapter 364. A strange woman. So it's His Highness King and Queen Cheng. This servant greets both of you. Who are you? Seeing the woman bow, Xiao Nani asked coldly. Upon hearing Xiao Nani's voice, the woman replied softly, I am a relative of the Mu Mansion. This servant will take her leave. Having said this, the woman hurriedly departed. Watching her retreating figure, Jiang Peihuan frowned. Turning to Xiao Nani, she whispered, if one remember correctly, the Mu Mansion only has the elderly prince and his heir, right? Yes. Responding to Jiang Peihuan, Xiao Nani nodded. The elder Prince Mu was the emperor's paternal cousin. He was old and had long withdrawn from court affairs, mostly spending his time in religious pursuits. As for the heir of the Mu Mansion, was the grandson of the elder Prince Mu. The elder prince had only one son who passed away due to illness years ago. It was said that this heir had been spoiled from a young age, and was quite domineering. Thinking of the woman they just met, Jiang Peihuan felt puzzled. Was she a relative of the elder Prince Mu or the heir? And the white flower on her head, who was it for? Jiang Peihuan was filled with questions, but Xiao Nani nonchalantly said, as long as they don't bother us, we don't need to worry about them. That made sense. Hearing his words, Jiang Peihuan nodded in agreement. Master, Queen, the room is ready. Please rest. At this moment, Han Feng spoke to the couple. Hearing Han Feng's words, Xiao Nani led Jiang Peihuan into the house. Neither Xiao Nani nor Jiang Peihuan noticed that the woman in white who had just left the courtyard hadn't gone far. Instead, she turned back to look at the courtyard where Jiang Peihuan was. Gone was the gentleness in her eyes, replaced by pure resentment. In these mountains, the scenery was unparalleled, but one disadvantage was the profound silence. Even the slightest noise could be heard. In the middle of the night, Jiang Peihuan suddenly woke up. As she opened her eyes, Xiao Nani beside her did the same. Looking at him, she whispered, You heard it too? Yes. He nodded in agreement. Before she could say more, a scream echoed again. It seems to come from the right. That courtyard belongs to the Mu Mansion. Upon hearing Xiao Nani's words, Jiang Peihuan immediately thought of the woman they had encountered earlier in the day. Master? At this moment, Han Feng's voice came from outside the door. Xiao Nani promptly lit a candle. Both he and Jiang Peihuan got up. When they stepped outside, Xiao Nani directly asked Han Feng, Have you found out what happened? The doors of the neighboring courtyard are tightly shut. It's not appropriate for us to forcibly enter. After all, it was the Mu Mansion. Even if Xiao Nani held a significant position within the royal family, there was still the matter of seniority and respect. Hearing Han Feng's words, Xiao Nani was silent for a moment. After some thought, he turned to Jiang Peihuan and asked, Shall we go and see? Let's check it out. Without hesitation, Jiang Peihuan responded immediately. The disturbing noises meant she couldn't sleep anyway. Rather than staying put, it was better to investigate. Having made up their minds, the couple dressed and left the courtyard, heading towards the courtyard on the right. Han Feng knocked on the door for quite some time before it was finally opened from the inside. The door was opened by the woman they had seen during the day. She was still dressed in the same white attire, with the white flower still on her head. In the dark of the night, seeing such an outfit was eerie enough that even the brave Han Feng couldn't help but feel a chill. However, the woman in white seemed unsurprised by the arrival of Xiao Nani and Jiang Peihuan. After offering them a bow, she softly said, Your Highness and the Queen have come so late at night. Is there something you need? Is there anyone else here besides you? Is Changyang here? Changyang is the name of that prince. Jiang Peihuan clearly saw a flicker of hatred in the woman's eyes. Although it disappeared quickly, Jiang Peihuan was certain of what she saw. In response to Xiao Nani's question, the woman softly replied, Your Highness, the prince is not here. No sooner had the woman spoken than a scream came from inside the house. This was the same scream that Jiang Peihuan had heard earlier. Hearing the scream, both Xiao Nani and Jiang Peihuan's expressions changed dramatically. Han Feng. Hearing Xiao Nani's voice, Han Feng immediately grabbed the woman. Let's go inside and see. Upon hearing his words, Jiang Peihuan nodded in agreement. As they entered, Jiang Peihuan couldn't help but glance at the woman now held by Han Feng. Whether it was her imagination or not, she thought she saw a hint of a peculiar smile on the woman's face. Walking into the courtyard, Jiang Peihuan detected a faint fragrance. Xiao Nanyi, wait. Before she could finish her sentence, Jiang Peihuan felt a darkness before her eyes and fainted. She felt as though she was being held by Xiao Nanyi. When Jiang Peihuan woke up, she found her hands and feet tied. Not only was she bound, but Xiao Nanyi and Han Feng were tied up as well. She also saw Yi Xiao lying on the ground nearby. The sight was utterly shocking to Jiang Peihuan. The four of them, although not claiming to be unmatched experts, were certainly not people that an average person could easily subdue. And now they were all bound here. Queen Cheng, are you all right? Upon seeing Jiang Peihuan awaken, Yi Xiao quickly spoke. Jiang Peihuan shook her head. After waiting a while, seeing no signs of Xiao Nanyi and Han Feng awakening, she couldn't help but ask, why haven't the two of them woken up yet? If my guess is correct, Yi Xiao began. This drug is the lost Xian Xiang from the martial world. This fragrance was specifically crafted for martial artists. It has no effect on ordinary people, but for those trained in martial arts, its impact is quite profound. The higher one's martial skill, the longer one remains unconscious. Upon hearing Yi Xiao's words, surprise was evident in Jiang Peihuan's eyes. Approximately the time it takes to brew a pot of tea later, Han Feng and Xiao Nanyi gradually awoke. Have you all woken up? As Xiao Nanyi and Jiang Peihuan regained consciousness, a woman's voice whispered close to Jiang Peihuan. The white curtain in front of them was slowly drawn back, revealing the figure of the woman. Yet at that moment, Jiang Peihuan's attention was not on the woman. Instead, her gaze was fixated on a vase beside the woman. To be more accurate, it wasn't really a vase but a person. The vase was as tall as an adult's waist, and at its opening was the face of a man. When the man saw Jiang Peihuan and the others, hope filled his eyes. Especially when he looked at Xiao Nanyi, his eyes were filled with excitement. Imperial uncle? The man inside the vase was none other than the sole grandson of Prince Wu, the heir to the Mu mansion, Chongyang. As Prince Mu and the late emperor were of the same generation, by familial hierarchy, Chongyang was indeed supposed to address Xiao Nanyi as his imperial uncle. Chapter 365. Serves him right, shut up. Who gave you permission to speak? Chongyang made a sound. The woman in white fiercely slapped him across the face. Instantly, a handprint appeared on Chongyang's face. Yet, when Chongyang looked at the woman, his eyes were filled with fear, devoid of any anger. Upon hearing the woman's command, he didn't dare to make a sound, and instead looked towards Xiao Nanyi with sheer terror. This scene made both Jiang Peihuan and Xiao Nanyi and others present display a grave expression. Jiang Peihuan, being a doctor, realized why Chongyang was in the vase. Just like Consort Qi before him, he had been transformed into a human vase. The woman in white then turned her attention to Jiang Peihuan and Xiao Nanyi. To be precise, she stared intently at Xiao Nanyi. Hatred filled the woman's eyes. She slowly approached Xiao Nanyi, and as she stood next to him, she took out an axe. Raising the axe without uttering a word, she attempted to strike Xiao Nanyi. Seeing this, Jiang Peihuan urgently exclaimed, "Stop!" Hearing Jiang Peihuan's voice, the woman halted her actions. But as she turned to look at Jiang Peihuan, her expression was utterly cold. Taking a deep breath, Jiang Peihuan addressed the woman. "A debt has its debtor, and vengeance has its cause. Can you tell me why you wish to kill my husband?" Upon hearing this, the woman's face fluctuated. After a brief pause, her eyes ablaze with anger, she declared, "I want to eliminate all these wealthy heirs." Why? This question from Jiang Peihuan was filled with confusion. Upon hearing it, the woman in white suddenly lowered her axe. She took a seat on a chair nearby and finally looking at Jiang Peihuan said, "If you want to know why, ask him." With her last words, she pointedly glanced at Chongyang inside the vase. Smiling, she added, "Young prince, why don't you tell the queen the reason?" Chongyang's eyes were filled with pain and a hint of regret, but he remained silent. If the young prince won't speak, then one will, she continued. She then introduced herself to Jiang Peihuan. My name is Bai Ling, from Bei's village in the capital. Through Bai Ling's recount, Jiang Peihuan learned the cause of the enmity. Bai Ling was once a common village girl, leading a happy life with loving parents and a devoted husband. However, all of this was ruined by Chang Yang. Struck by Bai Ling's beauty upon first sight, Chang Yang wanted to take her for himself. Upon learning she was married, he ordered her husband to be killed. And that wasn't all. He later ordered the deaths of Bai Ling's parents as well, forcing a now alone Bai Ling into his residence. Because of him, one lost the child one was carrying, Bai Ling confessed, her gaze shifting to Jiang Peihuan's abdomen. I was ready to die, but one couldn't accept it. Why should I die when he is the wrongdoer? Just because he's of noble birth, can he treat us commoners like ants? So you turned him into a human vase, Jiang Peihuan concluded. Knowing what Chang Yang had done, Jiang Peihuan felt no sympathy for his current plight. Hearing her words, Bai Ling nodded. I originally intended to kill him directly, but death seemed too merciful. So one severed his limbs and placed him in this vase. One won't let him die. I want him to suffer worse than death. As long as one live, I want him to suffer endlessly. By the end of her statement, hatred filled Bai Ling's eyes. That incense, did you make it? Yes. Seeing Bai Ling nod, Jiang Peihuan's eyes widened in surprise. Seeing the astonishment in Jiang Peihuan's eyes, Bai Ling continued, my ancestors have been making incense for generations, so my skill in it is not surprising. Now that you've heard the story, let's continue. Saying this, Bai Ling stood up, grabbed the axe next to her, and walked straight toward Xiao Nani. As Bai Ling approached, Xiao Nani remained expressionless. However, when she raised the axe, the ropes binding him suddenly snapped. Xiao Nani swiftly kicked Bai Ling, knocking her to the ground. She spat out blood, and her eyes were filled with shock. Looking at Xiao Nani, she exclaimed, How could you? Bai Ling, always remember, every poison has its antidote, he declared. As he spoke, Jiang Peihuan also freed herself from her bonds. Yi Xiao stepped forward, ready to finish off Bai Ling, but Jiang Peihuan stopped him. My queen, she's also a victim. Let her go. Hearing this, Yi Xiao sheathed her sword. Xiao Nani approached Jiang Peihuan, took her hand, and began to walk out. When Chang Yang saw Xiao Nani break free, hope flashed in his eyes. But that hope shattered seeing Xiao Nani leaving without looking back. Calling out, Chang Yang pleaded, Imperial uncle, save me, save. Shut up. Xiao Nani, who was already at the door, suddenly turned back. Reaching the door, Xiao Nani suddenly turned back. Looking at the pitiable Chang Yang, he coldly said, You truly deserve to die. Stunned by this rebuke, it took a few moments before desperation filled Chang Tang's eyes. Imperial uncle, I'm the last heir of the Mu Mansion. Do you want to see it end with me? Ha! Hearing this, Xiao Nani sneered as if he had heard a good joke. Xiao Nani remarked, With your current state, can you even carry on the family line? Chang Yang's face paled instantly. Xiao Nani gave him a cold glance, then walked straight to Jiang Peihuan's side and whispered softly, Let's go. Hearing the man's words, Jiang Peihuan nodded, but as if she remembered something, she turned her head to look at Bai Ling. The departed are gone, and one believe your family wouldn't want to see you torturing yourself like this. After saying these words, Jiang Peihuan left with Xiao Nani. Han Feng and Yi Xiao followed closely behind. Watching Jiang Peihuan's receding figure, Bai Ling's eyes filled with tears. But when she turned to see Chang Yang, a malicious look appeared in her eyes. She picked up the axe from the ground, struggling to stand. No, don't come any closer. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.